Hi everyone, this is Anna and welcome back to Anna's Take with a Twist. Today we're going to talk about 3 things regarding this fantastic book, which I'm going to highly recommend throughout this video, called The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins and Sawyer Robbins. Now the first thing we're going to talk about is a brief history on Mel Robbins, as she is a very interesting individual. That's going to be followed by my experience with people and what I've learned while I was reading the book. And then lastly, all the reasons as to why I think you should read this book if you want to be the director of your own life and maybe even a director of TV shows and movies. I know it's a lot of information. Let's get into today's video. The first thing I want to say is I'm not sure how many people actually know this, but Mel Robbins, like I said, is a very interesting individual. She is a speaker. She's a television personality. At the same time, she's a coach because she has a lot of great motivational techniques. She's been on a lot of different YouTube videos because she's been interviewed by lots of famous people, a lot of famous YouTubers. At the same time, I'm pretty sure she has her own YouTube channel. She is an author. The Let Them Theory, which is the latest book. She's written a lot of other books. And lastly, she has a podcast, which is considered to be the world's #1 podcast. So to have a podcast, which is like the world's best podcast with over 28 million followers, is, I would say, kind of a big deal. So I'm going to listen to what she has to say. If I agree with some of the things, great. If not, that's okay too. But I'm really glad that I purchased the book, The Let Them Theory. Introduction, my story, page 1. At age 41, I found myself $800,000 in debt, unemployed and watching my husband's restaurant business crumble. It felt like we had failed at life with no hope of ever escaping the debt. To deal with the anxiety and self-doubt, my main strategy became avoidance. Avoid getting up by hitting the snooze button. Avoid the pain with alcohol. Avoid responsibility by blaming my husband. Avoid looking for a job by procrastinating however I could. Then there's another paragraph that I'm going to read to the last paragraph here on page 1. It is, if you've ever been in this situation, you understand how monumental even the simplest tasks seem. Getting out of bed, opening your bills, being fully present with your family, cooking a nice meal, applying for a job, going for a walk, canceling that subscription, or even just being honest about the extent to which you're struggling. Everything feels impossible. Every morning when I woke up, the anxiety was coursing through my veins, and I thought, is this really what it's going to look like for the rest of my life? But you want to know the funny thing about being stuck? I knew exactly what I needed to do. Get up, tackle the dreaded pile of bills, get the kids ready for school, make myself go for walks, reach out to my friends for support, make a budget, find a job, and yet I couldn't seem to do any of it. The next section is called How I Changed My Life. So I found this book very interesting because in some respects it was a great reminder of how a lot of famous people, a lot of rich people, and a lot of rich and famous people have not had the easiest go in life. It's never been like a straight line, unless of course you're blessed with a golden spoon in your mouth and you're the golden child, meaning that you can do no wrong. Your parents are always going to treat you well no matter what happens. And you know, I kind of need that because I'm a little bit stuck in like one area of my life, and I'm kind of stuck in another area, which is called decluttering. I know, everyone's been there, I'm sure, to some degree. So anyway, I'm telling you this because I'm really grateful that I purchased this book. It reminded me of a time when someone was trying to control my life, and it brought back a lot of different emotions. So heads up, you might feel some things, some emotions you haven't felt for a while and perhaps don't want to feel ever again. So yes, it was interesting. And it reminded me of how when you don't control people, they can really start to flourish and figure out their own life. So I'm going to read you something from page 126. And it is from the chapter called The Right Decision Often Feels Wrong. So page 126. So let's summarize what we've learned about dealing with someone else's reactions. Right now, you allow other people's emotional reactions to dictate your choices. The let them theory empowers you to take a step back when you or another adult is acting like a child. Step 1, problem. And then the information on the problem pertaining to this chapter. 2 is called the truth. And then 3 is the solution. When you let them, you give others the space to experience their emotions without making it your responsibility to manage or fix them. When you say let them, you find the courage to make the right decisions for you, even if it will feel wrong to others. And I love the last sentence. The last sentence is, it's time to grow up and act like a mature adult. So I really enjoyed that because once again, it, like I said, brought back a lot of different emotions for me. I'm going to read this book several more times. The let them theory has affected a lot of different people, meaning that some people actually have had the words let them tattooed onto their bodies. So I've just, here's a couple of pictures of that. So as you can see in the one picture, yes, it's bent. That's a picture that I took from the book that I bought. And I'm really glad once again that I bought the book. The second part of the let them theory is actually let me. So it's let them and let me. There's more information about how that comes about. So it's in the book and I really want you to read that. And I've kind of like had this feeling about like the whole let them, let me. Whereas like, oh, well, and I call them like the gatekeepers, right? So it's like, if I apply for a job and, great, they're going to book me, great. I'll go to work. And if they're not going to book me, great, I'll do something else. Or, oh, you're going to invite me? Great. If not, then okay, great, I'll just do something else. I don't know how many people really know this, but directors actually solve a lot of problems throughout the day. And that is basically problem solving, right? If that's going to be a problem, solve it. Do something else. I'm going to read something from the back of the book, and it is, 2 simple words will change how you think about your entire life. If you're struggling to achieve your goals or feel a little happier, the problem isn't you. The problem is the power you give to other people. In this book, you'll learn how 2 words, let them, can set you free. Free from opinions, drama, and judgment of others. Free from the exhausting cycle of trying to manage everything and everyone around you. There is a better way to live. And another 2 paragraphs, and the last sentence is, by letting other people live their lives, you finally get to live yours. I'm going to read you something from page 290. Let me prioritize my own happiness. Let me pursue my dreams with passion. Let me set boundaries that protect my peace. Let me choose relationships that uplift and inspire me. Let me love myself enough to walk away when it no longer works. And then once again, this is the chapter called How Every Ending is a Beautiful Beginning. And not every chapter has this, but a lot of chapters do, and this one does. And it's once again the problem, right? 2 is the truth, and then 3 is the solution. So I'm just going to say, I'll read you something from the last paragraph. When you say let them, you accept people as they are and you accept their behavior as the truth. When you say let me, you choose how love shows up in your life. Last sentence in bold says, stop chasing love and start choosing it. Thought that was just very inspiring. And then here's something from page 296. Stop wasting your brain space on the million tiny things that don't matter. It's time to use every second of your day for all your amazing things that you know you're capable of. Stop letting the fear of what people might think paralyze you. It's time to go after your dreams boldly, relentlessly, and unapologetically. Stop tiptoeing around everyone else's emotions. It's time to fiercely protect your own peace. Stop letting other people's success devastate you. It's time to get to work. Stop making your social life everyone else's responsibility. It's time to build the most incredible friendships you've ever had. There's a lot of other great things in this book, and that's why I'm highly recommending it. So if you want to be the director of your own life, and I'm just going to say that, it's not easy being the director of your own life, because as the director of your own life, just as if you're a director of a TV show or a movie, there's a lot of problem solving. But the one thing I will say is that every time you solve a problem, the next problem is easier to solve. And every time you figure something out, the next thing is easier to figure out. So it's almost like everything just kind of like builds on each other, and it's like a compound effect. So it may not be easy to start. However, sometimes I think it's harder to stay stuck. As a woman who needs to declutter her bathroom, I know, never-ending problem for women. Anyway, once again, I'm going to highly recommend the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins and Sawyer Robbins. I hope that you get the book. I'm going to leave information, link for that in the description below. It will be from Amazon.ca, and yes, I will be getting some money from that. If you don't want to get the book, I totally understand. I'm rather certain you can get it from the library as either an actual physical book or an audio book. If you don't want to get the book from the link or from the library, or borrow it from a friend, or even buy it from another source, I am going to suggest, and just do what you want, I'm not here to control you, however, I will suggest that, she does have all the different platforms, right? So maybe you want to listen to a podcast, maybe you want to watch a YouTube video that she's been interviewed in, or a YouTube video that she has. I just really think that it's just a time in a lot of people's lives where a lot of things are maybe not going in the best direction. So if you can use a little bit of extra help, a little bit of encouragement, use a couple of motivational techniques, I think that would just be great. Trying something as innocent as listening to something is pretty low risk. So once again, I'm going to highly recommend it. And of course, if you like today's video, you can always like the video. Of course, you can always leave a comment. And yes, of course, you can always subscribe. Thanks again for watching Anna's Take with the Twist. And that's a wrap.